Hey everybody, well today I'm going to talk to you about how I got my commercial driver's license. They're known as a CDL. I'm sure y'all probably know what that means, but that is what it stands for. So I've got me some notes, I've got actual proof that I have it. I'm probably not going to be showing that, I don't know. And I've got a chilled adult beverage, because let me tell you, we don't need this. First off, let's just go ahead and get this guy right there, just like that. Get him on standby. That's where he needs to be. Now I'm sure you can see behind me, I've got some weird colory looking stuff. And this creepy guy right here, looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm doing my job. Well, that's one of the reasons that I decided to get a commercial driver's license, CDL. So this son of a, he ain't looking over my shoulder no more. And I'm borrowing my wife's art studio to film this, just because convenience, I guess. Okay, so let's talk about why I decided to do this. Why would I want a commercial driver's license? Why would I want a CDL? Hey man, what you mean you want to go get a driver's license? You want to drive a big truck? You want to drive a big truck in the city? Yeah, I do. I don't want to drive the city. And that sounds pretty scary, actually. It still sounds kind of scary. And I'd like to say, before we do all this, why I'm making this video. When I was deciding whether or not I actually wanted to do this, I did a lot of research and I watched a lot of videos. So maybe this will help somebody. So why I decided to do this, why would I want to put myself in this place? Why would I want to invest in driving a big scary ass machine through tiny streets where people hate you? Everybody out there driving around hates you. They really do hate you. They really do hate you. So I guess it really came down to just a job that would be easier, or so I thought, and so I still think. It's a lot easier. You see, for most of my life, I've done nothing but construction, and let me tell you, I'm tired. I'm so tired of it. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy it, but I just don't want to do it for a living. I enjoy doing it for myself or for a family member or for a friend, but for doing it for myself, I just don't want to do it anymore. I hate it. I don't hate it, I just hate doing it that way. Now, as I mentioned before, I hate truckers. I still hate them. I have a lot of family members that have been, and some that are still driving a truck, and I think they're assholes. I honestly think that they're assholes. Now, of course, I knew that they had a job to do, and they're trying to do their job the best they can. They've got to put food on their table, they've got to put money in their bank, they've got a job. And we, as four-wheelers, as it's known, as normal people driving normal cars, getting in their way, they're cutting us off, they're throwing rocks up in the air, they're throwing water when it's raining like crazy. You know, they're not doing it on purpose, but it's still happening. And that's where the rage comes from, the rage of the four-wheelers cutting off the trucks. Let me tell you something, folks. Trucks can't stop quick. They can't stop quick. Now, of course, I knew this, but it's so easy to just hate a truck driver, just to hate them. Get that big, dirty thing out of here. I don't care. Get out of my way. I got a life to live. I got to go to work. I got stuff to do. And here you are driving at 62 miles an hour. Some of the trucks are driving at 62 miles an hour. They can't go any faster than that, even if they try. Unless you're going downhill. But for the most part, the trucks are always in the way. So getting to the point of this whole thing, I had to weigh my decisions on how can I actually do this. Once I decided to do this. Now there's a bunch of different ways. You do a little research online, you can find it. There are companies that will hire people directly without a CDL, without any experience of anything. They say, hey, you want to be a driver? Hey man, you want to drive a truck? You want to come drive a truck? Hey, come on, man. Yeah, hey, it's great. It's all go here, right here. This is where you are. This is the wing. You under my wing. You come and drive with me under my wing. Sounds pretty good, right? And in some cases, it might be. It might be okay. But there's a catch. There's always a catch with whatever you do. Anything that sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So while you're right here under this wing, while you're hanging out right here under this wing, you know, it's nice and comfortable, they're going to pay for everything. They're going to pay you to get on a bus and to drive to wherever their school is. They're even going to pay for your meals. I think 2 meals a day. You might have to do your own dinner, but there might be some places that do 3. 3 under the wing. But while you're under the wing here, and 3 meals a day, they're also going to pay for your room. And man, you come on over here. Hey, 3 meals a day, maybe 2, but you know, at least 2, maybe 3. You get right under this wing. I'll pay for your room too. You got your room. You're gonna be hanging out. You cool, man. You be kicking it and doing out whatever you're doing there. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll even pay for your bus ticket out there. How's that sound to you? That sound good? I'm gonna give you a career. You got whatever you want right here. Just come on in, sign this paper. Well, when you sign the paper, you get the bus ticket. You get on that bus and you drive out there. Wherever this place is. I'm sorry, you ride out there. You get there, you get off at wherever you're supposed to be. I don't know if they call you and say, hey, get off this bus stop, there'll be a representative there for you, or if they say when you get off, you know, walk down the block, turn right, whatever. I don't know. I didn't do that route. Okay, so you're finally there. Let's say you get off your bus and you do whatever that is, and you get to your room or the headquarters of whichever company you go to. After all this happened and you finally get to where you're going, you're going to get off the bus and you're either going to meet a representative or you're going to go to wherever they tell you, probably some sort of headquarters or something. You're at some point going to have to take a drug test and a physical, and that is usually combined into one little thing. You bend over to make sure your back works, your arms work, and you can pee in a cup, and you don't have any drugs on you. And that's what the DOT physical is. Talking about the DOT physical, there's a lot of horror stories about it. I didn't experience that sort of horror story thing with a DOT physical. The doctor that examined me was a chiropractor, so maybe there's something there if you're going to a medical doctor or a veterinarian, maybe. I don't know who all does this, but when you get your medical card, it's like a card like this big. It's got what kind of doctor was it? Mine was DO, Dr. Ortho something. He was a chiropractor. Then you're going to have to take a drug test. You're going to have to do the physical. It's all going to be in one thing, usually in one shot. You go in, you pee in a cup, bend over, bend just around and stuff, pick up some things, squat down, do some magic stuff, and you're good. Okay, let's say you can do all that. Let's say you can pass all that. Hey, cool, man. I just took this 6-hour bus ride with a whole bunch of people sniffing down my neck, coughing on me and everything. And okay, you know what? Here I am. We're good to go. And then comes the time to check into your room. Okay, hey, you know what? They pay for my room. I'm going in. I'm going to get in the hot tub. I'm going to get in the pool. Man, this is going to be great. I'm going to order some room service. Let me tell you something. Boy, you ain't getting no room service. The room that you're going to get is going to be bottom of the barrel. You're going to be sharing it with someone. Most likely another classmate. Might be a couple classmates. Hard to say. You don't know. If you call the company, they might say. But let me tell you, you're going to be sharing with someone. Now let's say that, okay, you can do this, you got locked up with a cellie that's okay, your roommate, and you can get along with them, whatever. They're not crazy, they're not pee in your bed, they're all right. You can do this, you can deal with it. Or you're so desperate that you don't even care if they pee on your bed in the middle of the night. Let's say you're okay with it, no problem, whatever, let's do this. Let's go to class. Next day, or if you get there on a Friday, you might not start class until a Monday or whatever, something along those lines. It may just be that way. But let's say the first day of class, you walk in, what do? Well, you introduce yourself, they tell you what to do and where to go. They'll probably tell you exactly where to go. And you sit down and you do your whatever, and then you get your paperwork, you fill out all kind of stuff. I'm not going to sue the school if I get screwed over. I'm not going to sue the school if I cannot pass this. I didn't do any drugs. The drug test is okay. I passed it, I guess, I think, and I hope, and whatever. Then you'll get your books, and they'll tell you what to study. There'll be a little bit of classroom instruction, and you'll go from there. The state of Ohio has a mandatory 40-hour classroom instruction. Man, I can't wait to talk about my 40-hour classroom instruction. Once you get your 40-hour classroom instruction, you'll then move on to what they call the pad. And in other places, they may call it something else. But that's where you actually get in the tractor. Tractor. And the tractor, for those of you that don't know, the tractor is the semi. The engine, the truck part that hooks onto the trailer. The trailer is a semi-trailer. It's not a full trailer. It's a semi-trailer. Means there's axles in the back and there's landing gears in the front. It's a semi-trailer. That's where the whole semi thing comes from. But the road tractor, the truck itself, is what you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn pre-trip. Let me just say that again. Pre-trip. Hey, boy, hey, easy with that face there, man. I did my pre-trip. I know my pre-trip, man. I did good. It's okay. Hey. Yeah, the pre-trip is something that's pretty stressful. Ain't nobody anywhere checking their vehicle this thorough. You know what, before we even talk about the pre-trip and all this stuff, you know what, I still gotta remind everybody here, I didn't take this option. This is an option that I was considering heavily about doing this, and I'm just gonna continue with it now. I think I did go off on a tangent, but I'm gonna talk about this now, and then we'll come back on how I actually got my CDL. I apologize, I'm going long. I don't know what's up. I think it's just, reliving this whole experience. Yeah, it's a little stressful. So you're gonna learn a pre-trip. Pre-trip is a big thing for the test, not for anything else, not real life. Yeah, you gotta check all the stuff on your truck before you drive your truck anywhere, but let me tell you, it ain't gonna be this thorough. Okay, so you're gonna learn your pre-trip. You're gonna do this. This thing is not cracked, broken, or missing. It's proper color, location, and securely mounted. Over and over and over. So then once you finally have the pre-trip beat into your head, you're then going to move on to maneuverability. Or maybe it's a road driving thingamajig and maneuverability at the same time. Whichever, you're at some point going to learn on maneuverability. Now, there are 5 different maneuvers that you're going to have to do. In the state of Ohio, I don't know about other states, but in the state of Ohio, there's at least 5 maneuvers that you may have to do. Where I took my test, there was 3. Straight line back is a definite. You have to be able to drive the truck forward and drive the truck backwards without doing none of this dumb shit. Then you have to offset the truck. For example, there's 2 lanes. Pretend that there's a thing here. I drove my truck into this lane. I pulled up, I backed up. It was fine. I did that, now we go on to the offset. I drove up and I have to do, this was a driver's side offset. Then the truck around, got him in there, did good. Okay, now at this point, the examiner has the option to say, okay, go do a alley dock or do a parallel park. Do a parallel park, either driver's side or passenger side. Driver's side means you pull in to where there's a box. You have to pull in and you have to back the tractor and the trailer into this box. Driver's side. Passenger side is the other way. It's just backwards. You just do it the other way. I didn't get alley dock. I got driver's side parallel park. The length of the box is your truck's entire length plus 15 feet. And you have to get your vehicle over in this box within the length of your truck plus 15 feet. Now that's the maneuverability, and that's when it comes to testing, but you're going to learn the whole thing. You're going to learn alley dock, and you're going to learn it all. Now in the state of Ohio, there's a minimum of 10 hours on the road. Driving a tractor on the road. I don't know exactly about the requirements for having a 53-foot trailer or a 40-foot trailer. I really think I was only on the road for maybe 4 or 5 hours with a trailer. Everything broke down. But that's what we'll talk about some other time. That school I am totally going to put on blast, but we're not doing that right now. Okay, so let's say that you get everything done, you do good, you go take your test, and you're good, and you pass everything. Well, now what? But okay, to say everything goes good, you get your permit, you do your schooling and everything, which I left the permit part out, but whatever, it's just testing and paperwork, computer work, whatever, I don't care, whatever. Anyway, you do that, you get your schooling, and you pass the CDL. They pay for everything, man. They pay for your room, they pay for your food, they pay for your bus ticket out there, they pay for your school. You got any idea how much that school costs? Some of those schools cost upwards of $10,000. Hey, you know what? That's great. They want to pay $10,000 for me to go to school. Hey, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know, they're $1 million trucking company, $1 billion trucking company. They want to pay for me to come drive them. I don't care. They want to pay for my school. They want to pay for my food. Want to pay for my room. Want to pay for my bus ticket out there. Cool. We can do that. No problem. However, there's a catch. you'll have to sign you a promissory, promise something. You're gonna have to work for them for a year, at least. There's some companies that do 6 months, there's some companies that do 8 months, but most of them are a year. There's even some companies that do 2 years. It's a contract, you sign that. When you go wherever you're going, you call people, whoever you are, whatever, you're gonna sign something, and it's gonna say that you're gonna work for them for X amount of time, no matter what. If not, you have to pay them back the whole amount of your tuition and everything else they paid, plus administration fees, plus taxes, and let me tell you, it's way up there. It's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch. Probably gonna be more than what you could do on your own, which is exactly what I did on my own. I went to a private school. Now, before we get into this, I know there's a lot of you saying that, man, there's no possible way I can afford a private school, and that's okay. I absolutely understand it. In fact, I was absolutely considering driving for a company that would pay for everything, and that I could be their slave for a year or 2 years, or however long it took. I wanted the license for some reason. That's what I wanted, and that's what I wanted to do, and I was absolutely almost dedicated to doing that. It was this close. I was this close. And the company that I was going to go work for was Prime. They seemed like a relatively good company, and they paid for everything. Ultimately, it would come down to my wife telling me, you don't need to do this. We can do whatever we have to do. We can pay up front for a school, and we can make this happen. After weighing the options, I decided, okay, I agree with her, and more than I thought about it, I thought, this is something that makes more sense. You see, we have young children, and being home and being family is important. Obviously, being a trucker out on the road away from everything is not that ideal if you want to be part of your family. Providing for your family is something that being a trucker is good at. So we decided to do this, and I thought, all right, I looked up local schools that you could pay and do the testing, and there's no commitment, no anything. You pay the money, you take the class, you do the stuff, and you get your license at the end. The first school that I called, they didn't call me right back. And no one was there when I called. I went, I did my research and everything. It looks good. Okay, this is what I want to do. Let's call this school and find out what's up. I called, went to voicemail. No one was there, obviously, and I waited. A few days went by. I called back. No one answered. Okay, same thing. I'll leave a message. It was about a week later, maybe a week and a half, something like that. Somewhere in there, I don't exactly remember. I called them, and someone picked up the phone. Now, keep in mind, this was June, when school is not in session. There's no one there. That's what I was thinking. Okay, the class isn't working here. It's summer break, whatever. There's no one there. So I called third time or fourth time, whatever it was. I got a hold of somebody, and they said, hey, we don't do that here anymore at this school, but there's a school pretty close to you where you're at and where the area you're talking about that does this. They just started this program about 6 months ago. If you like, I can put you in contact with the guy that's running the thing, and you can go from there. And I said, sure, that's exactly what I want. Thank you very much. Have a great day. They gave me the number. I wrote the number down. I called the number. There was no one there. So it was a few more times of calling and whatever, leaving messages and stuff. I did get a call back. I wasn't there at the time. Got the voicemail saying, yes, we are doing this. Call back again, or we'll try you some other time, or something like that. Anyway, whatever happened, I don't remember if they called me or I called them. But I did get in contact with the guy. I don't know if he was a dean or if he was whoever, some sort of higher up guy. The guy that takes the money and tells you how good the school is. That's the guy that I talked to. He said, hey man, no problem. Come on in on this date. I'm going to be going on vacation this week and next week and next week. But yeah, come on in here, which was like a month later, and we can talk about it. And by the way, it's $5,000. Now I thought to myself, hey, $5,000, man, that's pretty damn cheap. So my wife and I discussed it. It's $5,000. That's incredibly cheap. Let's do this. Let's get it going. Let's go. So I go in the day that the guy said to be there. I meet him. I shake his hand, whatever. He took the card, scanned it good, paid for everything right there. Now, what do I do? What day are we starting? Okay, we start on, I'm thinking it was September 27th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was September 27th. It was a Monday. So after he told me what day we're starting, he took me out to show me the classroom that we're going to be in. It was just one normal classroom, had a bunch of computers. It had some simulators for another class that we weren't part of as truck drivers. It was for the guys that do the heavy equipment shit. Backhoes and bulldozers and stuff. It was a neat little simulator thing. You get in and you can drive. It's like a video game, but That wasn't for us. He then took me up to the pad, the area that we do the maneuverability, where the trucks actually were, and there was a class there that was doing their pre-trip and doing maneuvers. So it was kind of cool to see the trucks that we're going to be driving. Looks neat, looks great, looks awesome. Hey man, where's the bathroom? Dude, no, you just go around behind the remote office there, and look around a little bit first, make sure there ain't no one watching you, because there's a tree back there. Okay, I can do that, that's no problem. And lo and behold, when I go around behind this RV remote office, there's a tree. Ain't no grass growing around this tree. And I suppose it probably would have continued that way, but there was a female in my class who complained, who actually went to whoever that guy was that took my credit card and shook my hand and complained. He had a porta-john delivered. There it was. Now keep in mind, this class was only like 6 months old or something. This whole program had just begun. So obviously there's problems, and that's the only reason that I'm not putting them on blast. That's the only reason I'm not saying, this is the name of the school, this is where it's located, this is the guy's number, call these people and tell them how terrible they are. I ain't gonna do that. So I paid for everything, saw the pad, saw the RV office, and got the date of the day that I'm gonna start. Okay, cool, shake hands, thank you very much. I'll be here on that day, bright and early. It was like a month later before that date actually came. I assumed I'd be getting something in the mail saying, hey, congratulations for being enrolled in whatever school and doing the thing and the magic stuff. And this, by the way, this is the start date, and here's some sort of calendar maybe or something or whatever. No, nothing. I got absolutely no correspondence from the school.